Hello and a very warm welcome to each one of you. And today I want to welcome you back to Litverse. I want to begin with a confession today. Good afternoon, Pooja. Thank you for joining in. All right. So, have you ever had one small thought and somehow within 5 or 10 minutes, that one thought has become an entire story? Maybe somebody sends you a message, can we talk later? That's it. And that one sentence started making stories in your head. Why does she not want to talk? What did I do? Did I do something? Maybe she's upset. Maybe something has happened. Oh God, what if that is serious? Good afternoon. And suddenly you have gone from one simple message to a full blown emotional movie playing inside your head. Have you ever done that? Yes, no, maybe, yes. And I think most of us have done that, right? And that is exactly where today's chapter is going to take us. It is saying, be aware of the snowball effect of your thinking. And I think this is one of those chapters that sounds simple until you actually start watching your own mind. Before we read, let's set an intention today as well. I would love for you to complete this sentence. Today, I want to become more aware of dash. What is it? Is it your thoughts, your reactions, your assumptions, your fears, your overthinking, your self talk, or simply your mind? What is that one word? Give it to me in the chat. Mind. Wonderful. Beautiful. चलो now let's read the chapter together and उसके बाद हम discuss करेंगे what do we have. ठीक है? Let me start sharing the screen. This is chapter number 4. Be aware of the snowball effect of your thinking. A powerful technique for becoming more peaceful is to be aware of how quickly your negative and insecure thinking can spiral out of control. Have you ever noticed how uptight you feel when you are caught up in your thinking? And to top it off, the more absorbed you get in the details of whatever is upsetting you, the worse you feel. One thought leads to another and yet another until at some point you become incredibly agitated. For example, you might wake up in the middle of the night and remember a phone call that needs to be made the following day. Then, rather than feeling relieved that you remembered such an important call, you start thinking about everything else you have to do tomorrow. You start rehearsing a probable conversation with your boss, getting yourself even more upset. Pretty soon, you think of yourself, I can't believe how busy I am. I must make 50 phone calls a day. Whose life is this anyway? And on it goes until you are feeling sorry for yourself. For many people, there is no limit to how long this type of think attack can go on. Sorry, thought attack. In fact, I have been told by clients that many of their days and nights are spent in this type of mental rehearsal. Needless to say, it is impossible to feel peaceful with your head full of concerns and annoyance. The solution is to notice what's happening in your head before your thoughts have a chance to build any momentum. The sooner you catch yourself in the act of building your mental snowball, the easier it is to stop. In our example here, you might notice your snowball thinking right when you start running through the list of what you have to do next day. Then, instead of obsessing on your upcoming day, you say to yourself, "Whew, there is, there I go again," and consciously nip it in the bud. You stop your train of thought before it has a chance to get going. You can then focus not on how overwhelmed you are, but on how grateful you are for remembering the phone call that needed to be made. If it is the middle of the night, write it down on a piece of paper and go back to sleep. You might even consider keeping a pen and paper by the bed for such moments. You may indeed be a very busy person, but remember that filling your head with thoughts of how overwhelmed you are only exaggerates the problem by making you feel even more stressed than you already do. Try this simple little exercise the next time you begin to obsess on your schedule. You will be amazed at how effective it can be. And that is the end of this insight or chapter, whatever you can call it. All right, Pooja, now I would love for you to unmute yourself and share with us ki, mm, is there any experience that you would like to share or your learning from today's short read? Can I type here? Chalo, you type till then I will share what I have to share and then I'll read yours. Okay, think about this chapter. Close your eyes and think about this chapter right now. I wanted you to tell me what was your, oh, that is me moment, or what part of your thinking did you remember or recognize while I was reading it? Or what is it that you will take away from this session forward? While you are sharing this with us in the chat, Pooja, I will share what came to my mind. One of the most powerful things in this chapter is the idea that one thought can lead to another and another and another. And before we know it, we are not responding to what actually happened. We are responding to the story our mind has created around what happened. Good afternoon, Shruti. Thank you for joining in. Well,
Good afternoon.
good afternoon. Let's take a very ordinary example here. Your husband comes home and seems very quiet. ठीक है? इसके अंदर fact ये है कि he is quiet. That's all you know. But your mind might immediately say, he's upset with me. फिर इसके बाद क्या thought आएगा? Maybe I did something. उसके बाद आएगा, he does not appreciate me. वहां से आएगा, this always happens. वहां से आगे आपकी ट्रेन निकलेगी, nobody understands me, and suddenly you are emotionally upset. But let's go back to the beginning. What actually happened? He was quiet. Everything after that was interpretation. Imagine a tiny snowball on top of the hill. It is very small. You could easily hold it in your hand, but you roll it down the hill and it picks up all the more snow while it is rolling down, and more and more. And by the time it reaches the bottom, it becomes huge. That's what happens with our thoughts. The first thought may be very tiny, but when we keep feeding it, we add assumptions, we add memories, we add fears. फिर हमारे साथ में past experiences, and then we predict the future according to that as well, and suddenly the thought becomes enormous and we say, hey Bhagwan, I am so stressed. But sometimes the original problem was not that big. The snowball became the problem. I still remember the time when I woke up late in the morning, and just because I woke up late, so many thoughts came into my head, and it was a loop of those negative thoughts, which by the end of the thought process leaded to I am going to divorce my husband. Can you imagine that? And it is so unfortunate that we don't stop there. We do not stop when the thought occurs. We do not stop at the facts. But ये शुक्र है, it happened only in thoughts. I am with my husband just fine. चलो एक और पैटर्न को ऑब्जर्व करते हैं. जो माइंड है, it loves the words. And कौन से words? What if? What if she does not like me? What if something goes wrong? What if my child fails? What if they judge me? What if I can't handle it? What if tomorrow is terrible? बोला है सबने what if? And here's the interesting thing. Most of those things have not happened. But our body can start reacting as if they have. We experience the emotions of a future that does not even exist yet. And then it gets exhausting. हमारा माइंड कभी कभी एक बहुत क्रिएटिव स्टोरी टेलर बन जाता है. प्रॉब्लम ये नहीं है कि स्टोरी इंटरेस्टिंग है. प्रॉब्लम ये है कि हम उसे सच में मान लेते हैं. एक थॉट आया कि शायद मुझे मुझसे नाराज है, और हम उसे क्वेश्चन नहीं करते, हम इमीडिएटली उसको बिलीव कर लेते हैं, वो मुझसे ना नाराज है. फिर हम अपना बिहेवियर चेंज कर देते हैं, टोन को चेंज कर देते हैं, मूड चेंज हो जाता है, रिलेशनशिप भी इफेक्ट हो सकता है, और सामने वाले को पता भी नहीं होता कि हमारे माइंड में क्या क्या पूरी कहानी चल चुकी है. And this is why awareness becomes so powerful. After that, the author gives us a very beautiful and practical solution. He's telling us to catch the snowball while it is still small. Not after you have spent 3 hours worrying. Not after you have had the argument. Not after you have ruined your own mood. Usse pehle, earlier. The moment you notice, ki ho, here I go, chal padi meri train. That is the moment of choice. You have to choose whether I want to go down the train or I want to stop here. Imagine your thought says, I have so much to do tomorrow. Instead of allowing it to become, I am overwhelmed, I am never, I will never finish. Yeah, why is my life always so hectic? You can simply say, there you go. Now I'm going to go down. And when you know that, you stop. Not fight the thought, not judge yourself, but notice it and catch it. That is awareness. And I want to make one more thing very clear here. This chapter is not asking us to suppress our thoughts. We cannot control every thought that enters our mind. And we don't need to. The goal is not I should never have negative thoughts. The goal is the moment I get that negative thought, I catch it. The goal is I don't have to follow every thought that appears. And there is a huge difference. A thought can come and go. You don't have to invite it in. Like, so I normally say the thoughts are like our guests. You don't invite every guest to come in your house to have tea. You don't make every guest comfortable. Likewise, don't invite all your thoughts, so that you can give it tea, make it comfortable, and ask it to stay for the next 3, 4, 5, 7 hours, days, months, years. Sometimes we do exactly that, don't we? There are so many hurts sitting in our heart and soul because of which we are losing the peace. क्योंकि उसको हम अभी तक कैरी किए हुए हैं, because we are carrying it as of now. Now, let me share the author's example. Author shared the example कि all of a sudden at middle of the night you remember कि मुझको ये बहुत ज़्यादा important phone call करना है tomorrow. That is a useful input. You remembered, done. But then your mind says, tomorrow is so busy. I have to make 5 calls. I have so much work. What if my boss says this? What will I say? I'm already so overwhelmed. And now you are lying awake at 2 a.m. thinking about tomorrow. But the solution was actually very simple. Write the phone call down. Bed के side पे pen paper रखो, and if you think you get such thoughts at the middle of the night, just keep a pen and paper, write it down there, and go off to sleep. Your brain does not need to keep holding it, because whenever we try to hold it in our head, of course our mind is going to start working. You can simply tell yourself कि thank you mind, you have reminded me, it is written down, thank you, now go back to sleep. Isn't that such a beautiful life practice? I know for a fact that there are so many thoughts that can come that are creative, that are good for our businesses, that are good for, I don't know, whatever we are doing in life. But we don't have to, spiral it down to, I don't know how busy my life is and I'm that, bichari ablana. अच्छा मुझे एक बात बताओ, I want to ask you this. When we overthink, what are we trying to achieve? When we overthink, क्या अचीव करने की कोशिश कर रहे होते हैं हम? Anybody? Shruti, do you want to share?
Hello? Hello?
Yes, you are audible.
When nowadays, when we overthink, mind is trying to rest. We like stop overthinking, rest. And when you try to overthink, you're challenging your mind that you're not that your thoughts, and it is okay to think like that, but don't overthink because it is not true. You can come out of the situation. This is natural.
Pooja says,
And anxiety.
sorry.
Sometimes anxiety crops. Pooja?
Yeah, so we have another person in the room. Her name is Pooja. And Pooja says, yes, so true. We think from our perspective and make it bigger, where the real story is very simple and tiny. It happens with me too and becomes worse in critical situation. In this situation, I try to make another positive story to make me understand this is only my mind saying. Wonderful and perfect. Yes. Well said. Thank you, Pooja, for sharing that. Well, जब हम overthink कर रहे होते हैं, what are we trying to create? We are trying to create certainty. हमको ये लगता है, we think कि if I think about this enough, I will be prepared. But sometimes thinking does not create preparedness. It creates more fear, and there is big difference between them. Thinking about the problem or rehearsing the problem repeatedly. One helps us act, the other drains our energy. चलो imagine करो कि you are, playing a song on a repeat. ठीक है? The first time it is enjoyable. Second time it's okay. Third time it's still okay. The 20th time you want to switch it off, right? And that's what mental rehearsal can become. Same conversation, same mistake, same fear, same what if, same future scenario again, and again. And every replay makes the emotion stronger. So today's invitation is not to stop thinking. It is to notice when your thinking has stopped serving you. There is a very beautiful story, another story that I, share in the book reading sessions that we host in the morning and the evening. That is, there was the sadhu who decided to go to the, you know, forest, and he decided to take potatoes along with him and some, of course, wood so that he could cook and all of that. So the potatoes started rotting after a few days. But the sadhu was like, it's okay. ये तो छोटी सी चीज है. I should be able to, move on with this. He kept going, he kept going. Then after a few more days, it was even more bad. And there was a point in time when even the animals who were coming near him to eat the food, they also stopped coming near him. He felt that, wow, it is amazing because of the potatoes that I'm carrying and the bad smell of it. Even these people are not coming near me. These animals are not coming around me. But there came a time when he himself could not at all, you know, bear the smell of it. And he had to let go of the potatoes. And once he let go of the potatoes, the suffocation that he was having ended. This story is not about the potatoes. It is about the thoughts that we carry inside of us, the hurt, the pain, the guilt, the fear, all of these emotions that we carry inside of us that start smelling. And we become so intolerable, but we don't understand that we are becoming that. But people around us see that and they start staying away from you. Unless and until one day you crash down and you say, Kish, nahi ho raha, mujhse life nahi aage badlna. And then you say, my God, what do I need to do? Please tell me. Somebody, please tell me, what do I do? And then you go for healings, you go for therapies, you go for, coaching sessions and all of that. And you realize, oh my God, I am carrying so much. And then you start taking it off and you become the better version of yourself. In fact, you come back home. You become the earlier version of you before you started carrying those potatoes in your sack. Let's bring this home. This happens in relationships. Someone doesn't reply and we create a story. It happens with parenting. Our child makes one mistake and our mind jumps 10 years into the future. It happens with health. We notice one symptom and our mind starts imagining every possibility. It happens with work. One piece of feedback, and suddenly we question our own entire ability. It happens with ourselves. One mistake, and suddenly you start telling yourself, I always do this, I'm not good enough. Why can't I have, I ever get it right? Always. And whenever you use that word, तू तो हमेशा ऐसे करती है, तेरा तो हर रोज का बहाना है, I am always wrong. Any of those sentences, whenever you use always as a word, that is often a clue. Because one event has suddenly become the statement about your entire identity. So perhaps the real lesson today is not कि नहीं, the real lesson for today is कि there is a space between our thought and the response to it. And awareness help us find that space. The thought comes, we notice it, we pause, and then we choose. हो सकता है हम act करें, or maybe we write it down, or maybe we ask a question, or हो सकता है we let it go because it is not worth my energy. Or हो सकता है maybe we simply say, I don't need to solve this right now. That tiny pause where all of this comes can change the entire direction of the snowball. I want to ask each one of you here, what is the kind of thought that most easily becomes a snowball for you? Is it about your relationships, your children, your health, money, work? लोग क्या सोचेंगे? What do people think? Your future or something else? You can unmute yourself. Pooja says relationships. And Shruti, what is it for you? You can unmute yourself and share as well. All right. Now, the next question is, can you remember a recent situation where something very small happened, but your thinking made it much bigger? Yes. Well, what was the original fact? And what story did your mind create around it? सोचना इसके बारे में. My next question to that is, do you tend to overthink more about your past or your future? फिर से बोलो. Do you tend to overthink about your past or your future? Past. Shruti, where are you? You're not answering. Finally, what usually helps you come back when you notice you are spiraling? Please repeat. What usually helps you come back when you notice that you're spiraling into this loop of storytelling to yourself? Past hurts. And what about you, Pooja? Okay. Shruti says meditation. Awesome. I'm waiting for Pooja to reply as well. My intention, is that what I really want as an outcome? Wonderful. Awesome. Amazing. Today, I want us to practice this one sentence. Okay? Whenever you notice yourself spiraling, don't tell yourself to stop thinking. Just tell yourself, Arey, pakde gaye. That's it. Okay? Notice the snowball. Catch it early. And फिर उसको पूछना कि what is actually true right now. Not what might happen, not what happens 5 years, what happened 5 years ago, what can happen 2 years down the line, not what somebody might be thinking, only what is true right now. And then decide what actually needs to be done. Okay? Yes, no. Amazing. Now, I would love for you to, take your journal and write down these few questions so that you can reflect on it even more further, right? If you have a pen and paper with you, give me a yes in the chat box. Or maybe you can type it in your notes. Noting. Okay. Question number 1 says, what kind of situation most often triggers my mental snowball? What kind of situation most often triggers my mental snowball? Done. Number 2. What is journal questions? Yes. Question number 2. What is one thought I repeatedly turn into much bigger story? What is one thought I repeatedly turn into a much bigger story?
Can you repeat first question? What kind of situation most often triggers?
My mental snowball. हो गया? Question number 3. What is the difference between the fact and the story I create around it? चलो एक काम करना. फैक्ट स्टोरी जो आपने अपने जो फैक्ट था उसकी आपने क्या स्टोरी बनाई है अभी वो भी लिखना एंड देन व्हाट इज द न्यू स्टोरी यू कैन गिव टू इट वो भी लिखना. What is the difference between the fact and the story I created from around it? Then comes question number 4. When I notice myself spiraling, what would I like to say to myself instead? When I notice myself spiraling again, what would I like to say to myself instead? अभी हम ये स्टोरी चेंज करें. All right? एक सेंटेंस आपको अभी कंप्लीट करना है. That is, the next time I catch myself overthinking, I will dash. वो dash आप चैट में डाल दो. Next
Fifth
time.
one,
Sorry.
fifth question.
It is a completing the sentence. The next time I catch myself overthinking, I will dash. What will you do? बताओ. Pause and ask a few questions. Wonderful. Today we learned that our thoughts can have Shruti says, get busy instead of being idle. आधी रात को क्या करोगे श्रुति? All right. Today we learned that our thoughts can have a snowball effect. One small thought can quickly gather assumptions, fears, stories until something manageable feels overwhelming. Now, the goal is not to stop thinking or control every thought. It is to notice the snowball early, pause, separate the fact from the story, and consciously choose whether we need to continue thinking about it or not. Okay? The thought that you need to keep with yourself for the entire day is, I don't have to follow every thought that enters my mind. And जो practical reminder है, that is catch it early and don't feed the snowball. ठीक है? Good. Today was day 5 of our, free sessions. And if you loved the experience of what we did in these 5 days, and you would love to move forward with me, today I have a very special, because it is an independence, um, you know, week as well, I would say. The special offer that I'm offering for this particular book is, this book has 100 such insights. We have read only 4 as of now. And by the way, tell me if you found it a great reminder, a powerful concept or not. It's not written by me. It is a book written by some English author. But yes, let me know if you found it powerful. Yes, absolutely. Wonderful. Thank you, Pooja. Would you like to continue reading this with us? Amazing. Thank you so much. So, do I have your permission to share the energy exchange that we will do for this particular book? Thank you. All right. So, Pooja, normally speaking, the book reading sessions that I host is for $9.99 per month. Because it is a short read kind of a book, as well as it is an Independence Day offer, I want to extend this book as the entire book that is 100 chapters. We are on day 4 right now, chapter number 4. So we have 100 such chapters. I want to extend this instead of, 3,000. I want to bring it down to 1,500. So till the book ends, we are going to read it in this energy exchange. Normally speaking, it would 100 days ka matlab hai ki almost 3 months plus. So every month, if you pay 999, that is 1,000, so it becomes, 3,000. But here we are doing it for 1,500 for two reasons. One, it is an insightful book. You might have read the insights, but the way we are going to decode these and the way we are going to work on them will be different. You are going to get journaling prompts like you did get today itself every time you join the session. And along with that, you get the recordings of the sessions that you miss. And of course, you can connect to me anytime if you feel like you're stuck somewhere. So that is the energy exchange for today for this book. And even if you choose to, come a few days along, matlab 10 din baad bhi agar आओगे, this is the offer that I'm going to roll out for this book specifically. So that is from my heart to yours. And if you feel that it would be worth being in this energy, feel free to connect to me on WhatsApp, and I'll see you inside from tomorrow. This session will be in the closed community and we'll move forward with them. That's it. Thank you so much for joining in. It made me feel really blessed to have hosted each person who joined. Kabhi ek banda aaya, kabhi do aaye, kabhi teen aaye, kabhi ek aaya. And it was literally, it feels great that I can add in some value to every soul who comes into these sessions. Having said that, यहाँ पर मैं बोल रही हूँ, I normally encourage people in the room not to put things in chat, but to unmute themselves and talk so that the speaking skills also get enhanced. All right. That's it from my end. Thank you so much, Pooja, for joining in. And Shruti just left. So take care. And if you choose to move forward, then see you tomorrow. Or else, see you in the whatever next book we start with. Okay? God bless you. Bye-bye and take care of yourself.